The next step for the delete user page is something that's a little extra. You might not want to do this, but I want to give the user a prompt, and what I really want to do is put something like have this appear in this box. Say put the username here, delete the user, but have in the text box when the user clicks on it, have this disappear. And also I want to make this text light gray when it's my prompt, and then turn to black when the user types it. So to do this, to accomplish this, I'm going to put in a little bit of JavaScript. And again, took me a little bit to work this out. I've tested it out. There might be a way to do this, an easier way, but this is the way that I ended up doing this. And the first step is we'll come down to the text box, and we'll put in this text that says, our prompt, the user to delete. Then we're also going to add in a couple other little properties in here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it over, and then we'll take a look at it. So I'll find my text box, and I will come down here and paste this in. So the thing I've added is the text, the user to delete. Then this on focus. This says to call this JavaScript whenever the user clicks in the box. It's going to call a function called wipe text. Then on blur means kind of the opposite of on focus. As soon as if the focus was in the text box and the focus goes away, so if the user goes someplace else, we're going to call this reset initial text, and we'll check to see if the user didn't type anything, we'll do something. If they did type stuff, we won't mess with it. Then this is the last step. I'll set the foreground color to be gray. So when this first starts up, the text in there will be gray, and we'll say user to delete. Then the next thing we have to do is actually add the JavaScript. And I'm not going to explain this. There's a little bit going on here, but if you don't understand JavaScript, you're not going to get this anyway. So let's see, I've got an extra line in here. Tried some other things that didn't work, so we'll get rid of that one. But I'm going to copy this script code, and we'll go over it real quickly, but again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Okay, so this is the function wipe text. When the user clicks in the box, this is going to happen. And this first line says it's to find that text box. And what it does then is sets the value to 0. So where it said before, where it said user to delete, when it runs this, when the user clicks in there, this just cleans that user to delete out of there. And then this sets the text color to black. So whatever the user types in there will be black. Then the user does something else after they're done typing and they move the cursor away from there. It's going to run the same thing. So again, we're going to get that text box. And then we're going to check and see if there's nothing in there. If they didn't type anything, we're going to put the prompt back in there, and we're going to change the color back to gray. So the only remaining thing is we want to make sure that this text box doesn't have the focus when we first start the page. Otherwise, it's going to wipe it out and make the color black, and it'll get rid of our prompt. So to do that, what I'm going to do is go here to the VB code, and we'll go back to the page events, and on page load, we'll set the focus someplace else. So I'm just going to set the focus on the that link that we made, and I don't remember what that was called. The one where the user could click to see the grid view. So this link button, I should have renamed it, but it's kind of too late now. So I'm going to say link button 1 dot focus, and that's all. That's all we need to do. So that sets the focus on that link button, not on the text box. So let's run this and show you what we've accomplished with this. Now you notice it says users delete in here in light gray. And if I click in here, that goes away, and I can put in whatever I want to put in. And if I click someplace else, it goes away. If we let's reload the page. This says user to delete. If I click in here, it goes away. If I click off of that, you notice it pops back. If I don't type anything, it comes back. Okay, so again, well, if you want to see how that works, there's a little bit going on there. Most of it is accomplished by the JavaScript code, and then this on focus and on blur, that's how we call the JavaScript code and attach it to this particular text box.